The third rule said that if the phone rang from room 7B, I was allowed to pick it up. I just wasn't allowed to say a single word, which is strange because there is no 7th floor in this hospital. The elevator stops at 6. Ask anyone who works there. I even laughed at the last rule, the one that said the night staff who didn't follow these were still on the schedule. Then, at 3:13 in the morning, the phone on my desk lit up, and the little screen said 7B. They told me the night shift was the easiest job in the building. Greystone County was an old hospital, most of it closed down years ago, whole wings sealed off. Only a few floors still running on a skeleton crew. My job was simple. Sit at the front reception desk from 11 at night to 7 in the morning. Answer the phones. Buzz in the occasional ambulance. $40 an hour to keep a chair warm in an empty lobby. The woman who hired me didn't smile once. She gave me a key card, a laminated rules card, and a long look. She said the last clerk had moved on, and then she went home, and I never saw her again. There were 6 rules. Here is what I was told. 1. Your shift is 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Stay behind the reception desk. Do not walk the halls. 2. The elevator serves floors B through 6. If the doors ever open on a floor you did not press, do not get in, and do not look inside. 3. The phones may ring from any extension. Answer them. But if the screen says 7B, you may pick up, and you must never speak, and you must never hang up first. 4. At 3 a.m., the lobby lights go dark. Face the desk, sit still, and do not look toward the elevators until the lights come back. 5. If you hear a gurney rolling across the lobby behind you during the dark hour, it is not an orderly. Do not turn around. 6. Follow the rules and you clock out at sunrise. The ones who didn't are still on the schedule. I laughed at that last line. For 4 hours it was easy. At 1:40 the elevator chimed. I hadn't called it. Nobody had. But the little arrow above the doors lit up, and I heard the car climbing, and then settling, and then the chime. The doors slid open. Rule 2. If the doors open on a floor you did not press, do not look inside. So I looked at the desk, at my own hands. I heard the doors stay open far too long, 10 seconds, 15, like something was standing in the gap deciding. The air that drifted out was cold, and it smelled like antiseptic and something older underneath. Then the doors closed, and I realized I'd been holding a breath I didn't remember taking. I wasn't laughing anymore. After that, I watched the clock the way you watch a stranger across a parking lot. At 2:58, I stopped pretending I wasn't waiting for it. And at exactly 3 a.m., the lobby lights died down to night mode, that deep, grave-like dark hospitals keep in the small hours, where the only light is the red glow of the exit signs and the green of a dozen little machines. Rule 4. Face the desk, sit still, don't look at the elevators. I put both hands flat on the desk and stared at the grain of it, and listened to the building breathe around me. And then behind me I heard wheels, a gurney. The squeak of one bad wheel, rolling slow across the lobby tile, somewhere behind my chair. Rule 5. Do not turn around, do not offer to help. I didn't move. The wheels came closer, past the waiting chairs, until they were right behind me, close enough that I could hear something settle on the frame. A weight, a slow, wet breathing that wasn't mine. And a voice, close to my ear, patient, almost kind, said, "You're new. You don't have to sit out here all alone. Come up with me, I'll show where the others went." Every part of me wanted to answer. I bit down on the inside of my cheek and I said nothing, because Rule 6 had told me where the clerks who answered ended up. And then the phone on the desk lit up. The screen glowed in the dark, the only bright thing in the room. 2 characters burned white against the black. 7B, Rule 3. If it says 7B, you may pick up. Never speak. Never hang up first. My hand shook the whole way to the receiver. I lifted it and I put it to my ear, and I did not say a word. For a moment there was only static, the long hollow static of a line that runs somewhere very far away, and then breathing, and then a voice. "I can hear you breathing. I know you're there. Why won't you talk to me? I know your name. Say something, just one word, and I'll come down, and you won't have to be alone anymore." I kept my mouth shut and I held on to one thought like a railing. Follow the rules, and you clock out at sunrise. And then all at once the line went dead. The wheels rolled away, and warm white light bled back into the lobby. The lights were back on. I set the receiver down with a hand I couldn't make stop shaking. The lobby was empty. No gurney, no marks on the tile. The phone was dark and silent. And outside the tall lobby windows, the sky had gone the soft gray of early morning. 6:51 a.m., I'd made it. I'd kept every rule. In 9 minutes, I could clock out, walk to my car, and never come back. That should have been the end of it. But I made one mistake. While I waited for 7 o'clock, I looked up at the big lobby directory on the wall, and I read it. I'd looked at that board 100 times during the night. 6 floors, radiology, surgery, maternity, all the way up to the sealed wards on 6. Now there were 7, right there, at the very bottom of the board. At the very bottom, below the line where the board should have ended, it said, 7, long-term care. I turned and looked at the elevator, and the call panel, the one that had glowed B through 6 all night, had a new light on it now. A 7th button, lit, waiting. The hospital doesn't discharge everyone. Some patients it keeps, and some of them never checked in at all. There was a door beside the elevators, a stairwell door with a small square of wired glass set into it, and a stencil above the handle that read, Stairs, 7. There had been no 7th floor an hour ago, and behind that wired glass, in the dark of the stairwell, there was a face. A young man about my age in a wrinkled scrub top with a badge still clipped to it, pressing his hands flat against the glass, his mouth moving, the same shape, over and over. And even though I couldn't hear him through the door, I could read it on his lips. Run, run, run. I ran. I crossed the lobby and pressed my badge to the reader at the staff exit, the same badge that had let me in 8 hours ago. The reader flashed red, and under the red light, small letters scrolled across its little screen. Access updated. Assigned floor, 7. I tried the doors anyway. I threw my shoulder into them until they bruised. They didn't move. My phone had no signal. It never did. Not once all night. And behind me, soft and patient, the elevator chimed. The doors slid open, and it was waiting to take me up. I'm telling you this from behind the desk. It's 10:58 at night. In 2 minutes, my shift starts again. I don't know how many nights it's been now. The clock resets. The card is still clipped where I left it. There's a fresh visitor log, and at the top of it, in handwriting I don't remember as mine, my name is already signed in. So I'm going to do the only thing I can do. I'm going to follow the rules. Every one of them. Exactly. Because the card says that if I follow the rules, I clock out at sunrise. It doesn't say which sunrise. If you're ever admitted to a hospital at the edge of town and you press the button for the 7th floor, and there isn't one, be grateful. Take the stairs, walk down and keep going. And don't stop for the voice that knows your name. Because somewhere above you there's a bed, freshly made, with your name already on the chart, waiting for the night you stop. They told me the overnight dock was the quietest job on the coast. They gave me a card too. And the first rule was about counting. If you made it to the end, would you have picked up the phone from 7B? Tell me in the comments. Subscribe to the Dread Archive and I'll see you on the last ferry.